Welcome to the Carriker Chronicles, the crazy people show. We're checking the pulse of Husker Nation. Is going to be insanity this month of December. Ladies and gentlemen, this show is brought to you by DPS Concrete Construction. Check them out at dpsconstruction.net. Also, carrikerchronicles.com. Ladies and gentlemen, the news is going to be fast and furious this month. Carrikerchronicles.com is going to keep you up to date on all your Husker sports information, from volleyball to basketball to insanity in college football. I've been talking about, subscribe, ring the notification bell to this channel, because December is going to be all over the place with the transfer portal, with coaching moves, comings, goings, signing day. It's going to be craziness, the bowl game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, smash that like button. If you know it's going to be a crazy month in December, we need to be ready for it, and reacting and handling whatever comes our way, whatever comes our program's way, is just part of the gig, part of Matt Rule's job. If you agree with me, smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe, ring the notification bell as well. I did put out a show yesterday talking about Nebraska's got to develop a killer instinct, and I shared multiple things in that show that I've never shared before. So check that out if you missed it. Also, National Signing Day is this Wednesday, not in February. That day doesn't even matter anymore, hardly at all. It's this Wednesday, so obviously we're going to be covering that as well. All right, the news. As I saw it, broke by Sean Callahan, who does a phenomenal job. I'm pretty much just going to read his very brief article, so shout out to Sean and everything that he does. He's very credible. That being said, I've spoken to as credible a source as you're going to find under God's hot sun, and I've got some thoughts on that as well. So here's what Sean had to say. Report: Nebraska's Tony White expected to be the next defensive coordinator of Florida State. Earlier this season, Nebraska head coach Matt Rule made a change at the offensive coordinator position. It appears he will be looking for a new defensive coordinator. According to warchant.com of the On3 Network, Nebraska's Tony White is expected to be the next defensive coordinator at Florida State. White leaves Nebraska after just 2 seasons. In 2023, the Huskers were ranked 11th in total defense, 303.5 yards per game, and 19th in the country in 2024 in total defense, 315.4 yards per game allowed. All right, he'll take over a Florida State defense that ranked 87th nationally, 385.9 yards per game allowed in 2024. The Noles finished 2-10 after going 13-1 in 2023. Mike Norvell, Florida State's head coach, fired both offensive coordinator Alex Atkins and defensive coordinator Adam Fuller after FSU's 1-9 start. He cleaned house with a lot of their coaches. UCF head coach Gus Malzahn has already been named Florida State's offensive coordinator. That's per Sean Callahan. He does a phenomenal job. Okay, as good as there is. Now, that being said, he's got his sources. I spoke to as credible sources you can find under God's hot sun. And what I was told is that multiple schools have reached out. Nothing has been decided yet. Okay. Now, he may still end up going to Florida State. All right. What I've been told from someone I trust is multiple schools have reached out. And at the moment that I'm recording this video, and December is going to be insane, every 5 minutes something could change. Nothing has been decided yet. That is what I know to be true. Now, let's say Tony does go. Whether it's to Florida State, somewhere else, he had opportunities to be a head coach last year, and he chose to stay. He chose to stay for a reason. All right. Now, I do want to share this as well. This is a text. I've been getting blown up. Okay, since this news broke. This is a text from a notable public figure and a former Husker. And I quote, "Tony leaving is a bigger deal than just losing a defensive coordinator. He isn't leaving for a head coaching job if he goes to Florida State for the DC. He's leaving to do the same job. It signals what I've been saying for a while. Nebraska is no longer a team that competes for titles. It's just another team. Sad." End quote. Now, that's one way to look at it. If he indeed goes somewhere else to be a defensive coordinator, I get it. And that makes sense, and that's how a lot of people are going to look at this, if this does turn out to be what ultimately happens. It's also part of college football. I mean, it is. Chip Kelly went from being a head coach to a freaking offensive coordinator. Okay? You can say Ohio State's a better situation than UCLA, and being a head coach is incredibly hard now. Well, you're not a head coach. You're basically the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, making millions and millions and millions of dollars is what college football is now, more so than ever, especially Big Ten SEC schools. To me, it's what college football is. Is it a great signal if this is what happens? No, it's not a great signal, but it's part of it. I mean, there was a head coach, and I talked about it briefly, that left being a head coach at a smaller school, okay, a Division I school, left in the middle of spring ball. They had to stop spring practices to be I believe he was a tight ends coach at another school at a similar level. The name escapes me, but I remember talking about it last spring. This is unfortunately the way of the world. It is the freaking wild west out there, and you've got to rein it in. I'm not blaming anybody who's making moves to make their life better. I don't blame the players, it's the people who need to rein in the transfer portal. I don't blame what players are doing, I blame what NIL has created. People are going to do what's best for them within the rules that are given to them. The people in charge have got to rein this in. Now, as far as Tony White staying, by God, I hope he stays. As far as him potentially leaving to go to Florida State or elsewhere, I wish him nothing but the best. My God, I want him to stay. He's a really good defensive coordinator. The thought of Tony as our DC and Dana as our OC, which both are up in the air at this moment in time as I'm recording this video, is pretty exciting. We don't know what's going to happen. All right, we know this. What I know is schools have reached out and nothing's been decided at this very moment. All right, now, if he leaves, who's a potential next DC? There's a bunch of names out there. There's going to be a bunch of coaches moving around in college football until they rein this in a little bit. Phil Snow is a guy that popped into my head. All right, and I do have it on good authority that he was a strong candidate to be the defensive coordinator to begin with, and had it worked out at that time, he could have been the defensive coordinator. He's obviously been consulting from afar. Okay, about the same time they brought Dana Holgorsen in person to be a consultant and then ultimately the offensive coordinator here at Nebraska. Just a reminder, he was Matt Rule's defensive coordinator at Temple and safeties coach at Baylor, at Carolina Panthers. Now, I'm just throwing that name out there because right off the top of my head, I don't know who else it would be because there's going to be so many options. I'm not saying it's him. I don't even know that he's interested at this point in time. I've been told he no longer wants to be as involved as he once was as he's gotten older, and he's done this for a long time. So just a name to throw out there. All right, real quick. If you watch the Carriker Chronicles, the show constantly evolves. I've been blessed enough to bring on guests from all over the country. And if you know me, like, sports is something that's been my life since I was a kid. I was in general studies in college as long as I could be until they made me pick a major because I didn't know what I wanted to do. Sports. I went into business. Worked out all right for me. When I was a kid, career day, I wrote pro athlete. The teacher made me cross it out and write something else. I don't remember what it was. It certainly wasn't being a show host. I didn't see this coming. My point is, this is the point in the video and shows in the future where I'm going to start talking about other Husker sports and national college football as well. Husker football is my bread and butter. Husker sports is my bread and butter, but I love sports in general. I love Husker sports. I'm going to show them love, also college football in general. But before I get to that, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And I got more questions at the end of this video as always. Will Tony White be our defensive coordinator next season? Just simply let me know right now, yes or no. Will he be our defensive coordinator next season? Will Dana Holgorsen be our offensive coordinator as well? That's not the point of this video, and I've asked that in other videos. You can let me know in that comments below right now as well. But before I get to the other sports and national college football reactions from an insane rivalry weekend, insanity ensued. We got planting flags, we got pepper spray to the face, we got melees, we got people literally disrespecting the opponent's logo when Texas went and stomped and then tried to dig up with their cleats the A&M logo in the middle of the field. But hey, we didn't shake hands. Okay, Matt Rule does his pregame lap. I've seen that video a million times. I don't understand what he did that was wrong. I don't get it. Here's another question. Let me know in the comments below. Do you think Matt Rule did anything wrong? You can have your thoughts on the pregame handshake or not. That's fine. You can have your thoughts on the pregame prayer not being allowed at midfield. That's fine. In fact, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This will be a very interactive show. But I've watched the Matt Rule video of him walking around the field, which he does every game, before every game. I don't understand what he did wrong. Okay, am I missing something? Is there another video out there that I'm missing? All right, let me know in the comments below. All right, before we get to other Husker sports and national college football news, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, DPS Concrete Construction. All right, they are your local concrete experts. It's going to be an insane December, and I'm here for it. It's part of the gig, part of the job. The whole Carriker Chronicles team is on high alert this entire month. All right, but DPS Concrete Construction, they're your local concrete experts, retaining wall concrete work. Go to dpsconstruction.net. There are no better folks to do this work for you. dpsconstruction.net, also Bonsall Pool and Spa. Check them out at bonsalpool.com. You want a pool? Hot tubs especially, they're phenomenal. Saunas, you want them, they got them. bonsalpool.com. If you have these things, hot tubs, pools, saunas, need them taken care of, go ask for Jeff. Tell him Adam sent you, and or go to the website bonzelpool.com. All right, let's talk about Nebraska volleyball real quick. Earned a share of the Big Ten championship, their 5th Big Ten championship since joining the conference. They're the number 2 overall seed in the NCAA tournament. They're a number 1 seed within their region of the bracket. All right, this is John Cook's 25th season as Nebraska's volleyball coach. He has an .875 win percentage. He's won 4 national championships, 13 conference titles, 14, and 11 Final Four appearances, 29-2 records so far this year. All right, John Cook, the Lady Huskers are going to be looking for a 12th Final Four appearance, another national championship match. They went last year, didn't have a single senior on the team, and looking for a 5th national title for Coach Cook. All right, when you look at Nebraska basketball, they're off to a good start. There's things to be excited about. They're 6-1. Obviously, Mollywop Creighton, who has had a rough loss since. We're just going to ignore that if you're a Husker fan. If you're a Creighton fan, I'm praying for you. I say that with all sincerity, by the way. All right. They scored 100 points the other night for the first time in a game since 2021. All right, they beat North Florida 103-72. Something that got overlooked is their previous game. They won that game over South Dakota. Okay, we're going to face tougher competition. Dropped 96 points, 96-79. Their only loss is to a very good St. Mary's team by, I think, 3 points, 77-74. That St. Mary's team is 7-1. Has a tradition of being good at basketball. Keep your eyes on Fred Hoiberg and Nebraska basketball this year. They look good so far. Hopefully they can keep building that momentum going forward. And as always, Carriker Chronicles is going to keep you up to date on such things as well. All right. So we're going to end this video. Well, you know what? As always, CarrikerChronicles.com. But here are the rest of my questions. All right. There's going to be coaching changes. I've talked about it. Whether Matt Rules makes changes of his own or other coaches come and go on their own, it's just, we lost a position coach. I don't want to say lost, but had a position coach change in the middle of the summer last year. Like, what? And then we found someone to replace him who was pretty good. But over-under, 3 new coaches next year for the Huskers. Over-under, 3. The over-under for me is 3. Is it going to be over or under? Let me know. And while the Huskers on National Signing Day end up with a top 20 recruiting class, I think they could end up top 15. I've actually spoken with some of the guys who are not going to be flipping, some who potentially are, but that's their news to break. I don't want to break that. Okay, we are going to play my National College Football reaction from Saturday night. I post this on TikTok every week. Ladies and gentlemen, follow me on social media, especially TikTok, Facebook, X. Okay. At the time, I did not know the final score of Texas A&M. It was 17-7. Texas won, or Oregon, Washington. It was 49-21. Give me a follow on TikTok. Here is my National College Football reaction from last Saturday night. Go, Big Red Nose. Remember to throw the ball. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is your weekly college football scoreboard recap. We're going to start off the top with the 8 overtime game between Georgia and Georgia Tech. Neither team wanted to win, but Georgia ended up with more points, and they're going to play in the SEC championship game. They beat them boys from Atlanta 44-42. I had Vanderbilt as a potential upset team over their in-state rivals Tennessee, but Tennessee outlasts Vandy 36-23. The game. Michigan, Ohio State. The only thing worse than the way Ohio State played was the way the end of the game went down with the melee at midfield trying to plant the flag, and then we're pepper spraying college football players. Is Ohio State going to be in the college football playoff at this point? Is Ryan Day going to be Ohio State's head coach here in the near future? Michigan beats Ohio State for the 4th year in a row, 13-10. The battle of the Carolina of the Southern Division, Clemson, South Carolina. Would you put them in the playoff over Ohio State after they beat number 12 Clemson on the road in their house at the end of the game, 17-14? Illinois. Who had Illinois as a 9-win team at the beginning of the year? I did not. They are ranked. They have 9 wins. They beat their in-state rival, the mighty Northwestern Wildcats. All right, 38-28. The battle in the desert was more like a massacre. Arizona State takes down Arizona 49-7. Miami, they decided they didn't want to play in the ACC title game, so they go up to Syracuse, lose in the Dome to Kyle McCord, who on the same day that Ohio State loses to Michigan, all right, leads the entire nation in passing yards, about 4,000 passing yards this year, and upends number 6 Miami in a shootout, 42-38, costing the Canes a chance to play in the ACC championship. Now it looks like it'll be SMU and Clemson, who even though they just lost, that wasn't an ACC game, so they still get in. SMU finishes their season versus Cal
Who saw that as an ACC conference game this time last year? They whoop them. Number 9 SMU is going to be in the ACC championship game. I've got them winning. They whoop up on Cal 38-6. The Iron Bowl, Auburn, Alabama, Crimson Tide. They win 28-14. Penn State, they're now in the Big Ten championship game versus Oregon. We're going to get a 1995 Rose Bowl rematch. Oregon, Penn State in the Big Ten championship. Penn State mollywops Maryland 44-7. Notre Dame, USC was a good game. Notre Dame pulls away by 2 touchdowns, 49-35. Texas A&M, admittedly, is not over. 17-7. Texas is up, but A&M's done Jack Diddley squat, and I feel pretty good about Texas winning this game, making a whole lot of Aggie fans right there in College Station very, very unhappy, but Texas doesn't care. They get a rematch versus Georgia in the SEC championship game. And Kansas State versus Iowa State, I'm going to talk about it. Why? Because they're both ranked, and there's like 84 different scenarios in the Big 12 championship picture. Kansas State's currently ahead of Iowa State, trailing Iowa State 21-24. Oregon is stomping a mud hole in their rivals Washington 42-14. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been your weekly college football scoreboard recap.